In this video, we'll show how to save funnel answers as contact data, build a segment, and trigger an automated follow-up. In the first video, we used Oakstone Financial to see how filters and segments can organize contacts into targeted audiences. In this video, we'll go through the full setup, from contact properties and segment conditions to the automated follow-up workflow. Before we go deeper into how the Retirement Ready segment is set up, let's look at the contact data behind it. From Contacts, open Actions, and choose Manage Properties. Contact properties store information about a contact that we can reuse later for filters, segments, and automation. Here, you can view your existing properties or create a new one by entering the property name and choosing the type of data you want to store, such as text, number, Boolean, or date. You can also create a new property directly from the contact property mapping setup in the funnel editor, like we saw in the first video. Oakstone already has an age range text property, and we can see that it is used across all three of their retirement-related funnels. Using the same property keeps the age data consistent, so we can filter and segment those contacts together later. Now let's see how the funnel data gets saved to the contact property. Open one of Oakstone's retirement-related funnels and select the age range question. In the Settings panel, scroll down to Contact Property Mapping and click See All Mappings to open the full setup. When the mapping window opens, you'll see an overview of how your funnel fields connect to contact fields. Here, you can review the fields that are already mapped to the contact profile and add new mappings for any additional answers you want to store. Click Add Mapping. Under Submission field, choose What's your age range? This is the answer we want to carry over from the funnel. Then, under Contact field, select the Age Range Custom Property, which is where that answer will be stored on the contact profile. If the property doesn't exist yet, you can create a new one directly from this menu. For standard fields like first name and last name, InvolveMe may already suggest the correct contact field. If the suggestion matches what you need, you can simply click Apply Suggestion instead of mapping it manually. Keep Enable Contact Creation on so the mapped values are saved when the funnel is submitted. If it's off, the mappings won't be applied. Once everything looks correct, click Save. We'll repeat this same setup for the age question in Oakstone's other two retirement-related funnels, always mapping it to the same age range property. That way, all three funnels store the age information in one consistent place, which makes it possible to filter and segment those contacts together later. Now that the mappings are set up across Oakstone's retirement-related funnels, let's test one of them with a new submission. We'll go through the funnel just like a participant, answering the retirement-related questions along the way. When we reach the age question, we'll choose Over 50, then continue through the remaining questions and enter some sample contact details. Once everything is filled in, we'll submit the funnel. From there, we can open the funnel's Responses tab, review the submission, and check how the answers, including the age range, were saved to the contact profile. In the Responses tab, select the New Entry Submission. Here, we can review the participant's answers and confirm that the submission was received correctly. Then we'll click View Contact Details to open the full contact profile, where we can confirm the mapped age range property and see the contact's activity timeline. The timeline gives us a history of the contact's activity. We can see when they started and completed the funnel, when the contact was created from the submission, and that they've also entered the Retirement Ready segment we created in the first video. And here, we can see that our age range custom property has been saved correctly, with the value over 50 from the funnel submission. This confirms that the funnel data is being stored correctly and is ready to use for filtering, segmentation, and automation. Now that we've confirmed the contact property is being saved correctly, let's do a quick recap of how we created the Retirement Ready segment in the first video. We'll walk through the setup again and see how the conditions work together to build the right audience. We'll start by clicking Filter, then Add Filter, and create a filter group. Inside the group, we'll add Oakstone's 3 retirement-related funnels and connect them using OR. This means a contact only needs to have completed one of these funnels to match this part of the segment. Next, outside the group, we'll add the age range contact property and set it to over 50. We'll connect this with AND, so contacts need to meet both requirements. They need to have completed at least one of the 3 funnels and have an age range of over 50. Once the conditions are ready, we can see how many contacts currently match them. Then click Save a Segment and name it Retirement Ready. The segment will continue updating automatically as contacts start or stop matching these conditions. And now that our segment is set up, we can use it to trigger an automated follow-up workflow. Now that the Retirement Ready segment is set up, let's use it to automatically follow up with contacts who enter it. We'll open Actions and select Create Automation. This takes us to the email automation page, where we can create and manage our automated workflows. We can create a workflow with AI by simply describing the email sequence we want, choose from one of the available templates to get started faster, or build the entire workflow ourselves from scratch. For this example, though, we'll choose Start from Scratch, so we can build each step ourselves and see exactly how the automation works. And now we're inside the Workflow Builder, where we can start by setting up the trigger. We'll name the workflow Retirement Ready Follow-up so it's easy to recognize later. Next, we need to choose what should start or trigger the workflow. There are several ways to trigger a workflow, such as when a submission is completed, a payment is made, a contact is created, or a contact enters or exits a segment. For this example, we'll choose Entered Segment, which starts the workflow when a contact joins a selected segment. Exited Segment can be used when a contact no longer matches that segment's conditions. Then, under Select Segment, we'll choose the Retirement Ready segment we created earlier and save the trigger. Now we can start adding actions to the workflow. The first thing we want Oakstone Financial to do is send an email as soon as a contact enters this segment, so we'll add a Send Email action. This opens the built-in email editor, where we can customize everything from the sender details and subject line to the actual content and layout of the email. We can personalize the message using contact data, for example, by adding the contact's first name as a variable. By clicking the plus icon, you can use Ask AI directly in the editor to generate or improve the email content. You can also add different content blocks, including headings, lists, buttons, images, attachments, variables, or an invite to funnel block. The editor gives you quite a bit of flexibility in how the email is built. You can combine different content blocks, personalize the message with contact data, add buttons or images, include links to other funnels, and use variables wherever you need dynamic information. You can also structure the email however you want, whether that's a short follow-up message or something more detailed with several sections and calls to action. Once we're happy with our personalized email and everything looks the way we want, we'll click Save to add it to the workflow. Rather than sending another message right away, we'll add a Wait action and set it to 2 days, giving the contact some time to read the first email before we follow up. After those 2 days, we'll add another Send Email action for our follow-up message. The goal here is simply to check in with contacts who may not have booked their retirement planning call yet and give them another opportunity to do so. Just like before, we can customize the sender details, subject line, and email content, and personalize the message using information stored on the contact profile, depending on how we want the follow-up to be structured. We can remind them that the Oakstone Financial team is available to discuss their retirement options and include the booking link again, so the next step is easy to find. This way, the second email works as a natural follow-up to the first one without needing to repeat the exact same message. Once the follow-up email is ready and everything looks good, we'll click Save to add it to the workflow. So Oakstone now has an automated follow-up sequence connected directly to the Retirement Ready segment. With everything in place, we'll click Activate Workflow to start the automation. If we ever need to stop it temporarily, we can also pause the workflow and reactivate it later. Back on the email automation page, we can now see the Retirement Ready follow-up workflow listed here. From this overview, we can quickly check the trigger, current status, and execution statistics, and open the workflow again whenever we need to review, update, pause, or monitor it. Now that the workflow is active, let's test the full setup with a new contact and make sure everything works as expected. We'll open one of Oakstone's retirement-related funnels and go through it just like a participant. For the age question, we'll choose over 50 since that's one of the conditions required for the contact to enter our Retirement Ready segment. Then we'll continue through the remaining questions, enter some sample contact details, and submit the funnel. Once the submission is complete, we can check how that contact moves through the setup we've created and confirm that each step is connected as intended. Next, we'll open the Funnel's Responses tab and select the test submission we just created. Here, we can quickly review the participants' answers and confirm that the submission came through correctly. Then we'll click View Contact Details to open the full contact profile. From here, we can see the saved information, including the age range set to over 50. The timeline shows the contact's activity, including funnel completion, contact creation, and entry into the Retirement Ready segment. This confirms the setup is working as expected. Finally, let's head back to email automation and check that our workflow is triggered. From the Retirement Ready follow-up workflow, we'll open the menu and select View Executions. Here, we can see the test contact we just created, when the workflow started for them, the current status, and whether the execution has completed or encountered an error. Our test contact is showing as active, which tells us the automation has started and is still moving through the workflow. We can also click Edit Workflow and then open Analytics to get a more visual overview of how the workflow is performing and where contacts currently are in the sequence. At the top, we can see the total number of executions, along with how many are currently active, completed, or failed. We can also see activity directly on the individual steps of the workflow, making it easier to understand how contacts are progressing through the sequence. In our case, the contact is still active because we added that 2-day wait before the second email. Once that wait is complete, the workflow will continue automatically and send the follow-up message. Back on the email automation page, we can also see that our workflow now has its first active execution. So with that, we've confirmed that the contact entered the segment and successfully triggered the automated follow-up workflow. And that's it for this tutorial. We've gone from collecting contact data in the funnel to saving it as a contact property, using it to build a segment, and then triggering an automated follow-up workflow. This gives you a simple way to keep your contacts organized and automatically follow up with the right people based on the information they provide. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.